What's good, everybody, and welcome back to the Role Player Podcast. Watch along, presented to you by Swish Cultures. I am Jordan Taylor, alongside my guy, SEC and ESPN college basketball analyst Richard Hendricks. Anthony Goods, CEO, Stanford Gentleman, unfortunately not with us today. He's doing very important things. You know, he's a big man on campus, so he's always busy, man. But before we get started, be sure to hit the subscribe button below and follow along with us on all socials with the handle at Role Player Media for the Role Player Podcast and at Swish Cultures for Swish Cultures, obviously. Team USA back at it, y'all, in action today against Puerto Rico, who is 0-2. Team USA, obviously, 2-0. A game that is just for seeding, although I'm sure the U.S. will welcome all challengers in the knockout round. There's still a very important game that they would like to get. Puerto Rico started the tournament off great against South Sudan in that first half before an injury to their leading scorer, Jose Alvarado, stymied their momentum, and they succumbed to South Sudan ultimately before being mollywopped by Serbia 107-66. A win against the U.S. would obviously be about as good as a gold medal for the Puerto Rican side. Elsewhere around the tournament, the stage is set for the knockout round, and Rich, go ahead and take us through it, man.
You know, we talked about the standings. All of these teams have definitely been in contention, playing really good basketball. But USA, nothing else to be able to show for as they're trying to improve. But this is a big game for them. It's been a while since they played, 20 years since they played Puerto Rico in the Olympic Games, coming up with that loss back in that time. But they'll have a chance to continue to keep their momentum going as we get a look at the standings all throughout the group. Group A, atop the standings, Canada, and then followed by Australia. Greece, still in contention, came up with that win against Spain, but didn't get the quite against Australia, the number differentials that they need. Germany atop Group B, France coming in second, Brazil and Japan, Group C. Obviously, with United States and Serbia in the 1 and 2 spot, and South Sudan playing with a little bit on the line. So Puerto Rico is going to have to figure out where they can get a lot of their point production. They are the lowest scoring team in the tournament, don't have a lot of interior play, haven't really been able to get things going, but maybe they can get some things sparked this afternoon over in Paris against Team USA. This is a loaded team, as we're talking about, that they're going to be playing against with Team USA, but it's going to have to take a big-time effort from Jose Alvarado and company if they can get something done. Jay, what do you think about your thoughts on the game?
Man, I like Puerto Rico because it's USA versus USA, man, for real. I know Puerto Rico is technically its own country. But that being said, obviously, I love watching small guards, being a smaller guard myself. Jose Alvarado and Tremont Waters, two very talented guys that, you know, probably won't be that efficient against the U.S., but they could give them problems just getting in the paint. If they start making threes and able to knock down shots, you could see a lot of those problems that they had scoring kind of go away. Obviously, the U.S. with a huge size advantage that they should take advantage of. But hey, that's why they say they play the game, right? So, listen, man, who do you think is going to be the biggest challenge now that we kind of got everything ironed out? Obviously, that South Sudan, that Serbia game is going to be very important in terms of seeding. But who do you think is going to be the biggest challenge in the knockout round other than the U.S.?
Well, you know, I said for the beginning, we made our predictions of who we thought were battling for this silver medal. I picked Canada. And if you look at the ball that they've been able to play, they've been playing really good basketball. They had a tough one against Spain, who was able to kind of be able to hold on at the end. But at the same time, leading that group, we know they have the NBA talent all across the board. They're not going to be afraid of all of the players that Team USA has. This could be their opportunity. They could rise to the moment. But I think this tournament, all in all, is going to be Team USA's to lose. They have the gold medal pedigree. They're on a winning streak. They have really good players who are starting to find some chemistry. So it's just going to be a matter of what head coach Steve Kerr can dial into to keep players happy. But at the same time, I think they're going to continue to roll in this tournament. But Canada is the team that I'm looking at that has the ability. I know you had some picks that had you thought going to give them. The knockout round is going to be interesting. So your take on who you think is going to be the competitor against Team USA?
I think Canada has looked a little underwhelming, to be honest, man. They struggled because they beat Greece. They were beating Greece handily, but it was a 7-point game. Greece was hanging around. Spain pushed them yesterday with it goes back to the topic that we were talking about as far as can an international team, all international team win this tournament, win gold, specifically U.S. Spain's all international team, man. They had Who they had? They had Sante Aldama. Other than that, a
Yeah.
lot of international players, and they gave Canada some real issues yesterday. And then Canada, obviously, they handled Australia surprisingly. So I don't know if that's a mentality thing or what, but yeah, I mean, I just think they've looked a little underwhelming at times, man. So we'll see. Honestly, I think that the biggest challenge right now is I think Germany. I think Germany is going to
Really?
be the way they play. It's they spread the floor, but they move the ball. There's always their 5-man's always on the perimeter. Daniel Tice is always spacing the floor. Johannes Voigtman always spacing the floor. So the U.S. is really going to have to play matchups, I think, to compete with Germany. And then Dennis Schrader is maybe one of the I'm not obviously he's not a better player, but for his team, maybe one of the most valuable players in the tournament. Again, the way he can get in the paint and put pressure on the defense. So yeah, I think Germany's I think they're the only real threat to the US right now.
Okay, I definitely. I do notice a little bit of that when I watch Canada. I watch a little too much hero ball. With Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. With other teams, they're playing a lot more off the pass. They're cutting and moving, but they're relying too much on their talent. And definitely, they have the talent that I think maybe individually is second in this tournament behind Team USA. But at the same time, when you talk about the continuity that these other international teams have, they're not afraid of somebody just trying to load you up in isolation basketball. You're going to have to work it around. You're going to have to move it. You're going to have to do a really good job of that. So I do see what you're saying, that could be the one chink in the armor that Canada has from making a threat against Team USA. But Germany, coming off the last win in international play, winning the previous tournament, I think they might have that confidence and momentum that they can get it done. So I think that's definitely a good pick as we get ready to talk about the open of this game that's going to be coming up here in a few minutes. We're sitting here watching the live stream of the watch along, Team USA versus Puerto Rico, on the Role Player Podcast, brought to you by Swiss Culture. So we're moving into that game. You talked about the leading scorers of those teams on Puerto Rico. Jose Alvarado averaging 14 points a game, as well as Tremont Waters, the second leading scorer, 11.5. What's been the biggest reason why they can't get the point production for this Puerto Rico roster?
Well, first of all, it's probably I see you don't speak Spanish because I don't know what you said. Jose Alvarado, is that what you just said?
Alvarado. It could have been a glitch. It could have been a glitch. Hey, this is a worldwide live stream. This is Alvarado.
Jose, so yeah, you got to brush up on your Spanish, man. You down there near the border. You got to brush up on all that, man. But yeah, no, I think we'll see, man. Like you mentioned, you obviously had the scouting report on it. I think for them to score, they're going to have to play very, very fast. Obviously, that opens them up to a whole plethora of other issues when they're doing that. George Conduit, he's going to have a big game. He's going to have to really be a presence inside for them. He's got a lot of international experience last year in the G League with Rip City. But it's going to be tough. Anytime you got little guards, they're going to have to hit a lot of shots, which is what they did against South Sudan. But I think you hit it right on the head, Coach. And I know you got the coach's take. We got a comment for you here, too, from KJ61383. Said, "Oh, Lord, Coach on here analyzing the game. They had to come see you, man." So you got fans. You know who that is? Or you don't know who that is?
We got to check it out in the chat. Who we got on here? Oh, Lord. KJ613.
KJ.
Yeah, had to come here. There we go. Well, listen, I mean, this is a game that you should know, Jordan, as you mentioned, as a small guard. I would only want to know the question, why is it so difficult? I have these discussions a lot of times with other players, and I look at it, they say, your size is a major reason why you have an advantage. But I look at guards and say the quickness should count as the same thing. What poses the difficulty from a smaller guard? But even though they have the foot speed and the shooting ability, why is it such a challenge?
I mean, right there, kind of that picture that you see right there with Jose Alvarado is you're always under duress. Keith Langford even mentioned at the other, as fast as you are, if someone has length, you can always recover. Keith Langford last episode mentioned that length bothered him. He's 6'4", 6'5", big frame. And that length is always just a factor because you can never quite get a good look at the bat. Like, someone's always going to engulf your look at the basket at some point. So, I mean, you got to have, and nowadays the game is kind of phasing out, analytics phasing out that mid-range, the floater. That was a guard shot. That was a kind of a neutralizer. Guys are kind of going away from that. I think they need to bring it back because if you can make that shot at 60%, which is, I think, every small guard should have that in their bag, or the floater. it opens up pretty much everything else that you need to do on the floor. So, it's just tough, but I think, again, like you said, that speed definitely is. You got to get into guys' bodies. It's more of a touch league touch game than it used to be with touch fouls and things like that. But we'll kind of see how Puerto Rico adjusts, man. 2 minutes to tip. This is the Role Player Podcast Watch Along, presented to you by Swish Cultures. No goods today. Rich and I at the controls, man. Despite the diminutive stature of Puerto Rico's guards, it'll be fun because these dudes are not afraid of the U.S. Like I said, a lot of Americans that playing in today's games on Puerto Rico side as well. So they've seen all these guys, Jose Alvarado, Tremont Waters, and Puerto Rico back in the day, 2004. Their GM, Carlos Arroyo, was a part of a historic win over the 2004 Olympic U.S. team, 92-73, blew them boys out. Do you think they can capture that magic again here today?
I remember watching that, and Carlos Arroyo, if many people don't remember, this guy was a tremendous player in his own right. Maybe one of the best guards that I ever played against. Played for FC Barcelona, played for Maccabi Tel Aviv, Galatasaray Istanbul. Was a really crafty player. I mean, his handle was on a string. He could shoot it. He could pass from anywhere on the court. So he's really been able to not only make his impact from back in the day in 2004, and I was watching that game live. If they gave Team USA everything they needed and won that game in the Olympics in Athens, Greece, but now he's been able to put together a team that is out here trying to be competitive in the Olympics. So really good player, and shout out to Carlos Arroyo on what he's been able to do.
Yeah, man, he's a legend. He's a legend in the game. Definitely, he's one of those guys that, honestly, you don't even he was kind of ingratiated and adopted into the American game, in my opinion. I didn't even know he was, I mean, obviously I knew he wasn't, he was Spanish, but I thought he was born in the U.S. And the way he played is very, very similar to that of an American guard, especially from that time period. So shout out to him and what he's been able to do for the Puerto Rican side and for their national team, and give back to them and what they got going on in the game. And the Puerto Rican League is obviously blowing up a little bit too, man. But it should be fun to watch. We're about ready to tip it off here. We're going to go to the game, man. We got a couple good guests for y'all. Alex Renfro is going to join the show. Potentially a couple other guests, man. It's Saturday, so we're going to see who's going to pop in here. Might get a couple of surprises here and there. But 35.5 point spread for U.S. today, man. What do you think they cover that?
I definitely think they do. I think they're going to overwhelm. This is a game, as we mentioned, when you go back 20 years ago, that game against Puerto Rico was something that embarrassed Team USA, that forced them to have to change the way they went about their organization, getting different NBA players in and trying to build a culture. I think if you go back to how it was with the Dream Team in 96 and 2000, USA basketball was not something that we took seriously. You just brought players together in the summer and you thought you were automatically going to be able to win. But when we started to see that the world was catching up, in this game that Puerto Rico played against the United States 20 years ago, it was an embarrassing situation for us. Carlos Arroyo, Larry Aruzo, so many really good players who came out and showed what the deficit and the issues that Team USA had, were able to exploit that. So I think it's something that if you want to talk about them covering the spread, they're definitely going to have a lot of firepower and be prepared because of that embarrassing moment. And LeBron James was on that 2014. So a young LeBron James understands what it feels like, and he's playing top-level basketball. It's crazy at 39. I got to admit, from what I'm seeing, when he gets 3 days of rest in between each game, this guy's still the best player in the world right now at 39 years old, and that is the most impressive thing for me to see. It's incredible to see the way he's moving, the way he's running the team, and the way he's knocking down shots. So I think Team USA is going to get them from the jump. It's going to be a blowout.
I think that's the ultimate compliment coming from a known Jordan stan, man. For everybody that don't know, Richard Hendricks will probably have his kids might be named after Michael Jordan. We don't know. He'll probably have Michael Jordan on his grave plate. This man loves Michael Jordan. He thinks he probably vote for him for president. What else, man? You love Mike, man, right? So that's a hell of a compliment.
We're not having a GOAT. We're not having a GOAT conversation.
I didn't say that.
If we were talking about who was the GOAT, we'd be talking about a different conversation. But at the same time, if we're talking about who's the best player right now, I think what I'm seeing right now in these last 2 games and even the 5 exhibition games for Team USA, it's amazing. that LeBron James is still the best player on the court. I mean, he's older than I am. I've been done playing for 3 years, and I can't do anything. So, I mean, to see him moving like that is phenomenal, and kudos to him.
A little bit of technical difficulties here. Give me one moment. Sound difficulties, so
bear with us as you're all watching the live stream of Team USA versus Puerto Rico in the 2024 Paris Olympics on the Role Player Podcast, brought to you by Swiss Cultures.
Yep, and we are back. Excuse me for that. By the way, that 35 and out. Yeah, we weren't having a GOAT debate, but I wanted people to understand the magnitude of that compliment coming from your side, man. And before we get into it, this game is underway. But Cordell Young, man, my guy, he's tuning in. Everybody that wants to get on that 35 and a half point spread, go ahead and do it. That's a sponsor from Cordell Young, from my guy Q. He says we on that, man. So that's free money apparently. So let's get into it, man.
Appreciate you, Cordell. Keep logging on in the chat. What do you think about the game? I see you're going to get on to Cordell. You're going to get on to that point spread. But what are your thoughts on the game? How do you think LeBron is playing at 38 years old?
Man, I think LeBron has been. Look, I'm a big LeBron fan. I'm a big Jordan fan. All jokes aside, I actually think LeBron is aged, and I think it showed. I think him bringing on. I think I've said this before. When he brought Russell Westbrook over to the Lakers, I thought that was kind of his concession to his age. And he's still great. He still puts up numbers in an era where obviously inflated numbers are celebrated, which is great, I think. But, I just don't think he has the same impact on the game that he once had. So it's going to be it's interesting to me. Like, I don't know that he's the best player on this team. But again, to Kwame's point, he obviously is celebrating. I think it's obviously that they've made him the alpha, whether if that is because he is the best player or not, I don't know. But, hey, I'll leave that for the fans to determine that. So.
Absolutely. So we got the stream underway. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the game here. So they're trying to. That's one thing now, man. All these streaming services and everything makes you want to go back to the old school. The game. Just
go back to the cable services, man.
Move on.
And that's just so we know. I believe Simone Biles went one gold again. We got to shout that out, man, to the GOAT. Shout out I know this is a basketball podcast, or basketball watch along, but we got to shout out Simone Biles now.
We show love to all of the athletes.
Specifically Simone Biles. You know what? So yeah, the game is having a little bit of difficulty, but look, KJ6183 says, yeah, you got to go back to the regular. He's watching on the regular old TV. That's how you do it. We got a couple big guests in here today, man, too. My guys, Kieran Sandy, the London Lions. He's in here with us today. He said he's locked in, checking out the live stream. We appreciate you, my boy. Keep checking us in. Keep commenting. If you got any questions, got any thoughts on the game, please let us know. If our analysis is way off point, just let us have it, man. It's all right. We out here having fun. So, said a couple guests coming in for you today. Hopefully, Dante Grantham gets with us. Hopefully. We do have Alex Renfro, longtime international player, joining us. Could be a part-time comedian as well. But we'll have a lot of interesting content coming for y'all this way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see the KJ61383 in the chat. I'm watching on regular TV. It's much better. I think that's a legendary coach right there in the chat right there. Many-time state champion in the state of Alabama. Coach, we're going to have to get you in the chat. Come on the show maybe sometime. Give us what you think about this Team USA in basketball in general. How much has it changed? Has it changed for the better? Have to let us know in the chat.
Hey, man, Puerto Rico is without Marcus Howard today. For those that don't know, Marcus Howard led the Euro League in scoring with Baskonia and also led in three-pointers made. He's another small guard, though, man, but he also stood out as a two-way in Denver. When they were coming up, they let him go right before that championship run. How much better do you think he would have made this team?
Oh, anytime you got a guy who can score almost 20 points a game, when you can score in international play in the EuroLeague, then it translates in FIBA. As you've seen with South Sudan and Carlik Jones, and what he's been able to do, he can come out there and really make a difference. So, I mean, missing Marcus Howard would be huge for Puerto Rico, not having him on the roster, because his shooting ability, his playmaking ability, and his aggressive mentality is everything.
100%. And then I would imagine guys like that, you know how them little guards, when they score in these type of competitions, their defensive intensity picks up as well.
Sure.
And anytime you can get into the ball in FIBA and cause problems, which it seems that Puerto Rico can do. Puerto Rico off to a great start, 13-12 USA. And guess who's got it going early, man? It kind of been a no-show in this tournament. I'm not going to say a no-show, but a little quiet in this tournament. Light-skinned Steph, man, he got it rolling early.
I see him. He just came back with the answer after the three from Jose Alvarado. But that's needed in a big way. To be honest, when you look at the way that they put these teams together, when LeBron is the man, it does make it difficult to play alongside of LeBron James and the way he is ball dominant and doesn't necessarily move off of the ball. And Steph's game is going to be predicated on him coming off of the screens, people creating it for him. He has a lot of what they call ball usage as well. So, I mean, it's difficult when you have so many stars, but, it doesn't take – you can't keep him down that long. He's such a good shooter. Give him some clean looks in transition. He's been able to knock him down.
I think Steph is actually a guy that probably wouldn't suffer that much, or KD, just because their style of play. I think it's the guys like Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Embiid. Those are the guys whose games really have to suffer. But again, I think LeBron, when he was younger and he was ball dominant, nobody really suffered except for, I guess Kevin Love, but those guys had to change their games, right. I would say. But he just doesn't create the same. He still gets in the paint, just doesn't create the same separation and pressure on the defense, which is crazy. Which is crazy to say. But
Ron with the headband today, what you think that's about? Bringing out the headband?
I don't know, and it looks like his beard got grayer too. So I don't know what he got going. I don't know what Bron got. And Steph showing some token pressure defensively. What do you think about the way guards play now? Does Steph Curry get docked as a tough dunk, follow-up dunk, and hung on Embiid too? That's Reed with the tough dunk. What do you think about guys like Steph? Should they be critiqued as traditional point guards? Should he be picking up? Should he be playing defense? Should that go against his legacy, as great a scorer as he is?
I think he absolutely should be picking up full. I think that the game, as Joel Embiid with the rejection, good to see a Joel Embiid showing. This is the guy that we talked about on the last show that might be the odd man out. But, with his size and ability, he's going to have to be imposing as they move into these knockout rounds. The follow-up dunk by Devon Reed. But listen, I tend to believe that the old school mentality that you got to have from point guards needs to return to the game. And oftentimes when you grow up nowadays with so many of the players who are so ball dominant, shoot and feel that they have to do so much facilitating and shooting from the outside that they forget what you used to have to do as a point guard, which is setting up the team, getting back in defense, setting the tone defensively. Got to be the best person in shape, understanding who needs to get a touch when they get it. That is a lost art. And I do think that Steph needs to have a little bit more of that in his game to be considered a point guard. I know they talked about him and Magic Johnson. They asked him to one on who's the best point guards of all time. But I just think that his play is a little bit different when you talk about comparing him to other traditional point guards, as Jason Tatum was able to get the breakaway dunk, him getting into the action early on, USA up 17-14, under 4 minutes to go in the first.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And shout out a Wisconsin sighting, a lean forward in the house. I wish Goods was here, man. I don't see no Stanford. There's only one Stanford dude. We had two Wisconsin guys with Team USA for the prelims, and now we got another one here with Puerto Rico, but that's neither here nor there. I think how that stuff counts against your legacy. That's why it's so hard to compare against eras, obviously, is because everybody was always judged based on what they had to do. Like Steph Curry would have had to been picking up full and doing that thing. Would he be as effective offensively? I don't know. That's tough to say, as good as he is. But it's just I struggle with that, man. I know you're more old school than me. I'm probably somewhere in the middle of old school and new school. Jose
Man,
Alvarado getting
wins.
busy. Does
School
old
wins.
school win? Old school wins?
Old school wins. At the end of the
Boston
day,
Celtics would argue with that.
At the end of the day, why would they argue with it?
Because they're a new school team. They're the reigning NBA champions.
I mean, they reigning NBA champions. You still got a lot of old guys out there on the court. Al Horford, almost 40 years old. Drew Holiday's 34, out there playing the defense that we're talking about. That's tough. You got two physical wings who can have a lot of versatility, that can go down low and drive to the basket. The mentality is not old school. They got to get physical when you know you need to. You can't sit there and win totally off of finesse. And a lot of that starts at the point guard position with the tone that's being set. You guys, there's a reason why you got Derek Wright out here on that team. You got to have a point guard who's going to set the tone, come in, take on the defensive challenge, and make sure the team is starting in the right way. It's not always just about trying to get buckets. It's about making sure that the team is balanced, and you got to have that, and it starts with the point guard play.
Is finesse is a new school? Like, is finesse a new school thing? I think physicality is kind of a thing that is physicality deemed as old school?
I think you got to have both. I think,
but is physicality an old school trait?
Probably, particularly when you talk about the bigs. I think the physicality has to be a mentality that you're not going to let someone come out there and just do whatever they want. As Puerto Rico comes off that middle pick and roll and steps right into a tray ball and knocks that down 22-17. As we mentioned, this is a team that's not going to – they're going to be scrappy. I just don't know if over the course of a four-quarter game they're going to be able to hang with Team USA. But if they're doing that right there, hitting shots, extending that lead 25-17, there's going to have to be an adjustment made. A lean forward.
Out of the University of Wisconsin, baby. A lean forward. Spent some time with the Lakeland Magic down there in the G League. Another kid out of Wisconsin that, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna get too far into my bad. Wisconsin, we get a lot of talent. Obviously, the style of play, I think sometimes the style of play kind of dictates the perception of the talent, which is fine. But a lot of talented guys. So shout out Aleem for making his Olympic debut, man. Really special for him and the Wisconsin basketball group. But yeah, man, I think, well, let's go back to what we talked about in the opener, that 92-73 win. LeBron was on that team. Was not what I think is old school, actually. Do you think, if it was me, and I'm no LeBron, obviously you are neither, that would still be him. I'd still be mad about losing to Puerto Rico from 20 years ago. Do you think that bothers them? You think LeBron was still coming in this game like, man, I lost to these bums as a 20-year-old? Excuse me, not bums, but I lost to these dudes as a 20-year-old, and I want to avenge my loss from back then, or you don't really care?
He should. I think that's probably the reason why he went with the headband. He's trying to tap into a little bit of the vintage moment from back in the day to see if he can relive it and change some things. I mean, there's no other reason why he would put the headband on this game.
no other reason, huh? That's the only reason.
What else is gonna be?
That's some wild conjecture you got right there, man. That's the only reason he putting that headband on is to avenge the loss from 20 years ago.
Could be. Got some good stuff back here in the YouTube chat. KJ61383 said Puerto Rico is saying you're going to have to make shots from the outside, not closing out on Ant Edwards. Maybe they have made some decisions in the personnel saying you're going to have to beat us on the outside shot, as they're going to give Ant Edwards. There's a 3-ball right there, right on cue. Anthony Edwards sizing one up from the corner and knocks it down, cutting into this lead 25-19. Puerto Rico with the lead. Was a foot on the line? That was a long two? That's the example of what you're talking about there. The tough shots for the smaller player. Jose Alvarado having to shoot over the lead to AD. Exactly. You end up coming up with an air ball. You got to put that on the deck. You got the foot speed. You got to go ahead and blow bomb and see what's going to happen. You can't just sit there and settle for a step side J against a great defender. Look at that.
USA coming out of the timeout, going inside, crazy. Started off that zone from Puerto Rico was giving the U.S. a lot of problems, man. A really interesting adjustment. Probably the first time we've seen zone against U.S., forcing them to be jump shooters. There was no closeouts on Anthony Edwards. But, yeah, no, and the other problem with that is you're talking about a step side. Now the criteria to play at the highest level as one of those small is you have to make those shots. I would have loved that, to be able to take those shots. When we was growing up, it was, we're not taking those shots. You got to get in the paint and create for others. And the assists meant a little more, I think. Whereas now, you got to be able to knock down those tough shots, which is that to me is kind of the new school versus old school thing. You reward bucket getters, which doesn't no one's making that shot at a winning rate. Even Jason Tatum, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, like ain't nobody doing that.
Right. We're thinking about this defensive strategy and what Team USA is doing. I saw on the last possession, they come down, they switch it. Puerto Rico goes inside to Toro. That was his first basket of the whole tournament. He gets the switch on the little. He takes it right to the left-hand hook. That's something that you got to be able to see that players nowadays need to be able to take advantage on. When teams go switching defense, you got to be able to have a little bit more in your game to take advantage of it. You can't just let them solve the problem by switching over on D and then you just having to shake the tough outside shot. I do think that's the difference between the old school game and in the new game is that you did look for the mismatch. If me and you are playing and they switch and I got the guy on the small on me in the post, the ball's going in the post. I think nowadays, I think people are still going to play on the perimeter. And you got to understand there's still some good stuff that can come out of post play. You throw it in the post and you can create the double team and you can kick it out. And now the guard gets the wide open shot as opposed to the one that he had that was contested.
Well, yeah, and that's where, Jokic becomes such a problem. And I think that's part of what's made him the best or one of the best players in the NBA is Anthony Edwards goes coast to coast. Ain't no solution for that. That's what's made him one of the best players in the NBA is his ability to play from the perimeter, but also when you get a switch to throw it inside and him to punish you that way. It's really simple. Like I'll never understand that. If a big man, if you 7 foot and you got somebody 6'3" on you, like, come on, man, 6'4", like you should be able to take a jump hook, a drop step, something, even if it's a fadeaway. That's an easy basket. Ain't no reason to bail people out. But I'm still waiting. When is that wave going to come back? Is that wave ever going to come back where we throw it into the post, or is it dead permanently?
No, I think it's got to come back. The unfortunate part of it is that I think it has to start at the youth level. I mean, when I see kids now working on their game, you don't see too many people working kids with traditional low post moves and how to read the game. I'm talking about, first off, just playing off the pass. Everything is done now with the ball. You look at trainers and they're training kids and everybody has a ball in line coming through, doing the drill and doing the shot. In the team game, it's 10 players on the court. It's only one ball. You got to figure out how you can be effective without it. When you're talking about passing, screening away, flashing to the high post, having two bigs, high-low action, low post action, and diving down and hitting the cutter, screening away, floppy sets and coming and catching it off the curl and shooting it without dribbling the ball. There's so many things that you can do, but if you're not teaching the game at a young age, and when I even see kids, when I go to the rec centers and whatnot and play in AAU ball, you see 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and the coaches are running ball screens. And how can you learn how to play if you're the tall 8-year-old kid and they're asking you to run up and basically just be a lead blocker and set a screen for the one ball handler that can dribble and shoot? You're never going to develop how to pass, how to catch, how to play with your back to the basket, and how to read the defense. So it's going to have to be a concerted effort from the youth level to get big men back into the game, to be able to have some of these players to learn how to play with that high-low action with two real bigs on the court. But if you can do it, it's highly effective. I don't understand why. You can control the tempo. You give a good chance for offensive rebounds. You can make sure you can always be in striking distance in the game. And defensively, I don't care. A lot of people always say you put yourself out there on when they run ball screens that you can't play defense. But if you challenge a big man and you teach them the technique, then they actually can do a really good job to be good perimeter defenders and create players to be funneled to tough shots. So I hope it comes back to the game because you see a lot of bad basketball from players that don't have the ability to have that level of a green light. And you always, from a coaching standpoint, can trust that your team is going to get a quality shot.
We got a comment. Leroy Jones, man, said older generations always complain about what the new generations are doing, but it's them that are the coaches. What are they not, or why are they not coaching the perfect game? They miss so much. So that's valid too. I feel like older generations do always. I don't think it starts from the youth level. I think it starts from the NBA level. I think it's going, and I know it's kind of counterintuitive. but I feel like kids are going to do what they see and coaches are going to do what they see at the top level. Kwame again made a good point last time he was on the show about, letting these men, I guess now men or women who are coaching, who are just sixth grade coaches. That's what they know. They know teaching the fundamentals. They don't know about a ball screen. They don't got to have this verbiage. They don't got to have this elite knowledge of the game. Be an NBA parent who has a son on the team and just let them teach fundamentals. But yeah, man, I think it comes from the top down. I think it's going to take kind of a player to kind of make it popping again. And then I think you'll see the way the game is now. I just feel like people copy each other and you got to see what's happening at the top and then go from there.
I agree with that. I mean, because the players are going to watch that. But at the same time, it's like if you don't have that skill set, then how are you ever even going to be able to show it if you don't learn it at a younger age? And also, if they don't reward it, because when you do look at players like a Zach Edey, who was finally picked in the first round, but he should have been a first-round pick last year after the same dominant season, that people say he's not NBA draft quality. Or you look at Gonzaga's Drew Timme, who's not even picked after dominating college basketball with low post game and his ability to pass and cut and do so many things with his back to the basket. If they don't value it, then if I'm a young player, I'm not going to play that way because I want to get picked. I want to get drafted and whatnot. So, I mean, I think it's not just on the coaches. And I understand what Leroy Jones is saying in the chat, but I look at it and I say the coaches have to make sure they do cater a little bit to these players because kids are leaving AAU teams, they're leaving high school teams, they're leaving your college team. So if a kid wants to play a certain way, it's very hard to hold him accountable when he can leave someone in his own camp and start an AAU team, or he can leave and transfer and go to another high school team or go to another college team. It takes time to teach good big man play. So, I mean, the game that someone loves, when you change the situation from having, these high school teachers who were good educators and teachers and know how to communicate and teach the game over time, and now you just have anyone coaching, that changes the situation tremendously when you're talking about teaching an offensive style and concept that takes a little bit more effort.
No, that makes sense. And just to clarify, there's 30-23 going into the quarter. 1 point taken off the board for a shot on the foot on the line from Puerto Rico. So it is not 30-23. It is now 29-26. Puerto Rico on top. And to your point of, guys having the skills, you see Bam Adebayo bringing the ball up the floor and playing a pick and roll with Anthony Davis is something I believe plays right into what you're talking about. I ain't gonna lie, I find it amusing to watch that stuff. It's impressive. But I guess Shaq probably could have been doing that back in the day. And here it goes again. Anthony Davis with the block outlet to Bam. That's crazy.
What is that?
I mean, but look.
What is that?
Bully. That's modern day bully ball is what it is. They overwhelming this lineup, man. It is.
This is the difference.
Like the lineup adjustment.
AD. That's what you get right there. It's AD just being a beast on the glass and getting a mistake from Bam Adebayo, running people over. He gets the offensive rebound, dunks it. Derek White plays good defense, gets a steal over there on the side. AD back down low with another offensive rebound, and now KD gets a clean look. Like, the game is still played inside out, however you want to look at it, by way of the ball screen or throwing it in there. But sometimes you're just having some possessions that are wasted because people are trying to work on their game in the game.
The game played in. I don't know. I don't think the game is played inside out anymore. I think. Are you talking about effectively? You said we got a comment. KJ61383. My bad, but yeah, Bam and AD way better than Embiid. So I guess that we know who we prefer in terms of a big man. And he rolled his eyes too. He said he off Embiid, huh? That's all right. That's all right. But yeah, are you talking about effectively play better inside out?
Well, I look at it like this. If the goal is what? Every time you hear coaches talk, what do they always say offensively? We got to get a piece of the paint. So if you're trying to get a piece of the paint, it's just about how are you trying to get it. If the old school way was we're trying to throw it down there and throw it to a big and see what he can do point blank and see if he can get a couple people to converge on him. What's the difference? You going pick and roll and trying to get into the paint and trying to get people on the scramble, on the rotation. At the end of the day, you're trying to get the rotation for the outside shot after you get a piece of the paint. But I do think that there's something to it mentally when you can throw it down low and someone is imposing their will physically. It's like football. Like, it's something to playing a team that they spread you out and they're dinking and dumping and throwing it, as opposed to a team that lines you up and fires off the ball. It's something to that. And as the game wears down, you don't want to play against that team that's pounding you.
Yeah, I would agree. I think now, though, I think what happens now, if you have somebody who can pound the ball inside and like an Embiid who's just going to wear you down, the problem with that also is there is an element of playing through the post that takes guys out of rhythm as well.
Look at that right there.
It can be.
Look at that. You see that right there? You go into Bam.
I see it.
You go into Bam right
you got
there.
the mismatch double inside out.
Team. You kicked it out. You get a clean look in the corner. That's a good shot.
Like, the key was Bam being guarded by Jose Alvarado. Like, he got the switch with Jose Alvarado, right? Like, if you have a regular matchup and you don't have to double the post, that can be just as stymieing to the offense. And especially when the other side got someone like Anthony Edwards who's going to put 2 feet in the paint every single time down the floor. It's really just a rhythm thing. Like, guys like to play fast now and they don't like to play slow. And we had a comment earlier right here. KJ61383 says low post play isn't sexy to these kids anymore. So that is something to think about. When you're playing fast, you're getting up and down, these kids get excited. When you throwing the ball up in post, throwing the ball in the post, slowing it down, it's not as exciting. And I think guys get kind of bored with it, to be honest.
See, and that's what, when we were talking about Leroy Jones, that's what the coaches have to deal with, is that you are weighing too many things other than trying to win the game. You're trying to make sure people are happy, make people enjoy the style of play, make sure people feel like they're involved and get to show off their bag that they work on when they're out here dribbling around these cones, and then they get in the game and they can't do it. I mean, like, you got to do too many of these things when you're coaching them, as opposed to just trying to do something that's effective. But when I'm talking about the low post play, I think people think only of like a Shaquille O'Neal. Like, I'm throwing it in and he's banging you and just going right to the rack and trying to get there. You can throw it in the post. And I would argue that the weak side action that you have, that the defender now has to be engaged and he has to look at the ball and he doesn't know where his man is moving behind him, is more difficult to guard than when you have middle pick and roll or side pick and roll and everybody's eyes are fixated on the ball handler. So the ability of you teaching the triple threat and having people backdoor cut, move around on the weak side, screening away, flare action, that's a hard thing to guard if you are a player, and it keeps everybody in balance. But it's hard to teach that, because guys nowadays, the first thing they do as soon as they catch the basketball is start dribbling. They don't know how to pass. They don't look up. And I do think that's something you got to go back and teach in the youth game, and it takes years to develop that and years of it. And maybe on the young level, it's not effective when you talk about winning. If you can just take your best player and let him quarterback the game, he can win a game when you're 10 years old. Just give it to your best player, run your worst player up there, let him lead block and just throw a block on the guy guarding him and let him drive to his right hand and shoot a layup. And that's what you end up dealing with. And then when these kids get older, you're trying to wonder out, why can bigs not run and catch and make decisions? It's because they played 10 years of basketball and all they really were doing was being a pulling guard out there. And who wants to do that?
Sorry,
I had to get on my box.
And you did it without a guest, man. And Hemi says post play helps, but it's not necessary anymore. So he said, get off your damn box, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, man. Thank you. Yeah, Hemi, tell him, man. Tell him ain't nobody trying to hear all that, man. We ain't got time.
Nobody's trying to watch it.
Nobody's trying to watch it. It is crazy though. You know, to your point, you got Bam post touch, inside out 3. And the next 2 possessions was come off a ball screen and shoot a 3, miss it. Derek White and Anthony Edwards, and now you kind of mess up your own momentum, you mess up your own rhythm, and Puerto Rico find themselves hanging on right back in the game after a big run.
Well, what's the point of being big if you're not going to utilize it? I mean, if you're Bam and AD out here, you're 7 foot playing against the Puerto Rican national team. They got a big who just scored his first point in the game in Arnaldo Toro, and the first point of the whole time. That's the only reason they got him out there. He's only even shot a couple of shots the whole tournament, and that's why they got him playing minutes. George Condit's averaging 7.5 points a game. They got to play heavy minutes because they know, hey, I got to make sure I'm dealing with AD right there with a bull rush from the second spot on the free throw. Man, you don't want to deal with that all game long.
Yeah, you don't. But Puerto Rico kind of reverse flipping the script on the U.S. to being the aggressor, getting in the paint. That's 3 layups in a row. But USA obviously responds there. Anthony Edwards playing like he wants to get player of the game. He ain't got enough shots the past couple games, so he is his day to shine apparently. 38-37 U.S. This is the Role Player Podcast. Watch along. Presented to you by Swish Cultures U.S. The lineup on the floor: Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Anthony Edwards. There's Steph Curry, back-to-back 3-point misses. Earlier on, Cordell Young, my guy Q, Minneapolis, KD hits the 3, pushes the lead 41-37. He said 35.5-point spread sound crazy, but he said we on that. I hope that he hedged his bet. I hope that if you took that 35.5, that you hedged your bet as well. Q, if you're still with us, man, lock in. Tell us what you think. Tell us where you at. What's the new line on us there, man? We might bring you on, man. Log on, Q. We might send you the link and go ahead and get us some lines real quick, man.
We're
Let
getting
us
ready
know
to
if you with us. We'll get you the link.
Getting ready to open up the phone lines and have a few guests.
Getting ready. Alex Renfro is on the way. It started the third quarter. He'll be middle of the third quarter. He'll be with us. Anthony Good's not with us today, but we here having a good time, man, enjoying a nice Saturday. Saturday afternoon for me in London. Saturday morning for y'all back in the States. You a little USA basketball, man. And Rich Hendricks is here on his soapbox, man. Talk to us some more, man. What else you got for us, man? That's all you got? You want to switch the topic up for us, or you gonna go on your old school tangent?
I got too much old school. I'll let the viewers have a little break from all of the old school. But I mean, like, listen, I know we were talking about a 35-point spread on this Team USA. I know it's a lot of time left, but they're going to have to really start to pick up the defensive intensity. They're going to have to take higher quality shots. I mean, I know that they feel like they can easily win this game, but these are games that you got to come out and have a game to see if you can use your physicality to win a game. Like, you're going to get this one done because you have the depth, you have the momentum, but you also got to challenge yourself if you're in the team to make sure that you're playing in a certain style so you have multiple ways of seeing if you can win when you get ready to move towards the knockout round. Because Puerto Rico, the lowest scoring team in this tournament, the competition is going to get much more stiff and the pressure is going to tighten up. And if you're Steve Kerr, you got to try to challenge your team to try to win in different ways. When you talk about the game. So I look at this one and I say this is the challenge that they need to try to be a little bit more physical, not lean on the finesse, and see if they can unlock some things about their team that they can utilize.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point, man. What makes me mad, honestly, is, being obviously a staunch USA fan, I want to see them beat every team by 30. Does it ever make you mad that it doesn't seem like they're pressed to beat a team? Like, it just seems like they're kind of just letting their talent do the thing. They're giving up 37 points in the first half to Puerto Rico, who averages 75 for the tournament. Does that ever make you mad? Y'all chime in too in the comments? I don't know if that makes anybody else mad, but that'd be getting me tight. I want them to win 100-15.
Yeah, just like that weak box out right there by Joel Embiid. Look at this. Come on, man. Lean on your technique, man. Instead of giving them a forearm shiver, they're not going to give you the respect of the benefit of the doubt on the calls in this because it's not your team. You got to realize it's hard for these guys to adjust to realize, like, hey, man, like, now I'm on an all-star team, so I might be the man on my regular team, but you're the 11th man on this roster. So the official's not going to give you that call checking in off the bench. You got to pick up the intensity, as Puerto Rico has done a good job with this surge, turning up the intensity. Romero getting out on the break, 3-point deficit. And the body language of Team USA, for me, just looks defeated. They don't look like they have the sense of urgency. And I think that's what you're talking about, that you want to see somebody come out with a sense of urgency and step on someone's neck.
There's a strong contingency from the comments watching. KJ 61383 says sit Embiid and was disdained when Embiid was checking in at the table. And then you see the highlights there. United States, the women's side, moving on to the semifinal in their group. That's dope. A tough goal within the 105th minute, man, an extra time. That's exciting stuff. I wanted to finish watching that one, I'm not gonna lie, but the USA men's team was on. Had to get to this one. Hemi says, would love to see a Harlem Globetrotters USA team. I don't even know what that is. You got to give us more. I don't even who would be on that team, man.
What you talking about, Hemi? Let us know.
Let us know, man. I don't even know. Hey, man, but Kevin Durant, 8 points midway through. Well, I guess towards the end, midway through the second quarter, he is another 8 points away from being the all-time U.S. international basketball scorer to pass Lisa Leslie.
Oh, wow.
So that begs the question. Congrats. Yeah, legend Lisa Leslie. For the young people out there that don't know who Lisa Leslie is, go pick up an encyclopedia as Steph Curry misses another 3. That begs the question, who is the greatest basketball Olympian of all time? U.S., of course.
Hey, just off of what? We talking about we talking about ability on the court? Because I tell you what it looked like.
Here we go.
Listen, you got to go with somebody. Look at somebody like David Robinson, man, out there for the Naval Academy. He wins plays in the Olympics in '88, loses, comes back in '92. That man was playing with his heart. It was almost like he looked like he had to really give his all for his country. I mean, I don't know if he was the most statistically the best, but you got to look at somebody like that. David Robinson would be someone I'd get a vote for. Carmelo Anthony probably is my pick, to be honest with you. Off the strength that I don't think. Oh, what a pass! Oh my goodness, LeBron! Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm watching the same game you watching.
Man, I just had to ask
you. Yeah, I'm watching the same game you watching. That was tough, man.
Look at that.
That's
39 years. See, oh my goodness. See, why are they showing this? Put that pass on the loop over and over again.
Because it was goaltending.
Look at this on the dime. Look at that on the dime.
But shout out Embiid, man. To your point, that's a big man skill that I think that some of the stuff you're talking about right there, being able to get in the dunker, seeing the overhelp on LeBron. Big man fell asleep and then kind of falling in right behind his back, and that's just good chemistry for two guys that seemingly don't like each other. So to me, very, very tough as Steph hits the 3. What was man? What you just say? You was just talking about Carmelo.
I was telling you, Carmelo Anthony does not get. He don't get the flowers he deserves. I think people look at that and they talk about him not having rings. They talk about him not, doing certain things on his NBA team. But what he did for Team USA, I mean, you talk about that Nigerian performance, the performance he had against Nigeria, I believe in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been 2016. He had 37 points in 14 minutes. 10 for 12 from 3-point line. I mean, the guy, he is the prototypical international 4-man to be able to post up, can pop and shoot, can handle the ball. He has the skill set for that. I mean, I'd have to really give a nod for that. And he won so many gold medals. I mean, you really got to give that man his credit for that. I mean, I know people like to be critical in this critical age, but he's got to do a better job. Going to the chat, KJ61383 said Embiid is annoying, would rather shoot a fadeaway, dunk the ball. I agree. That beautiful behind the back pass that LeBron James on, you got to hammer that down. Really, if you look at him, his conditioning looks like it needs to improve tremendously. I mean, if he looks like he can get that can really limit the injuries and he can go back to being the player that's really dominant. But you got to finish that off the dunk, just off the strength for the fact of the pass that he throw to you. But Embiid definitely is going to have to get back into the lab, get the conditioning back so he can really have the longevity of dominance in his career because his skill set is elite and his size.
Yeah, his size, his skill set is elite. You saw he went to a little jump hook right there. A lot of old school stuff, man, that you're not pointing out, man. If you go, hate on the new school, point it out when they do the old school stuff, man. Steph Curry hit a 3. You said LeBron tough to play, tough screen, great screening IQ from LeBron on the handoff.
Listen,
gave the handoff and then hit the reverse pivot. 1987 reverse pivot out and screen for Steph, man. And then Embiid went down there with a 1996 jump hook over his left left shoulder looking like Richard Hendricks out there, man. Give us the commentary. Give us the commentary on the good stuff, man.
That's why you point that out. I'm not going to sit here and point out the stuff you're supposed to be doing. As LeBron with the cleanup jam, 39 years old in transition. I love the hustle.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we doing this watch along for. Because for whoever watching, you supposed to be pointing that stuff out so they can, they watching Switch Cultures. They supposed to say, hey, Rich Hendricks on Switch Cultures, man. He pointed out all the little things that I could be doing to improve my game. So he's a pro. He been a pro. He was a how many year pro? A 12-year pro?
13
year pro. Excuse my French. You know what I'm saying? A 13-year pro. Look at what he said, man. He played in the NBA. He played in the Euro League. If I want to do that, I got to listen to what this man's talking about, man. This is your platform to go and teach the youth. You over here wasting it. See?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Go ahead, man. Go point it out. Point it out, man. Richard Hendricks, for y'all that don't know, we going to see. Look at him. Maccabi Tel Aviv. That's young Rich. Strong. Look at him. Prime Rich Hendricks, man.
Right there. Powerful. Going up, finishing with authority at the rim. And that's how you do things.
That's how you do things. But we put that pictures up and we lost about 4 or 5 viewers, man. So we might have to. we might have to. Oh, my bad. Robin Carter said, you know what? I'm mad that you said this because Rich gonna be on me now. Rich gonna be on me. Said Jordan didn't give a pick best or didn't pick best Olympian. He says I don't make my decision. So my best Olympian, man, is Charles Barkley. No question. Okay. Charles Barkley led the dream team in scoring. Came back 96, led that team in rebounding. And if he was on the 84 team, which Bob Knight came out and said it was a mistake to leave him off the team, I believe he said he might have been out of shape or something like that, but acknowledged later on that it was a mistake. He'd be right up there, I think, in all the categories with KD and Carmelo. So mine is Charles Barkley, man, the round mound, the rebound.
Shout out Leeds, Alabama. Shout out
Leeds, Alabama, man. I met Charles Barkley in one time. And obviously, fanned out a little. I was 2 years after I left Wisconsin. I was in Dallas for the Final Four, and Wisconsin was playing. It was Charles Barkley and Tony Romo at a Final Four party. Tony Romo's from Wisconsin, so he recognized me. He was talking to me about Wisconsin. And I asked Chuck, I said, man, why didn't you ever show us no love on TV? He said, because y'all sucked. I said, damn, man, y'all just gone. So it was confirmation that dude don't acts the same way on TV as he does off. So. But still an honor to meet the legend. But that's my pick, man. Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley is the best Olympian basketball player of all time. As we got a review here underway, USA 60-45, the role player watch along presented to you by Swish Cultures. No Anthony Goods with us here today. Alex Renfro on his way will pull up with us here shortly after halftime. Let's check out what happened. A little replay here. I actually missed that. Oh, a little out of bounds.
Are they reviewing the out of bounds of who touched it?
Yeah, I believe they're reviewing the out of bounds call. Go behind FIBA rules. The referees go behind the scores table, which I'm sure is a little foreign for the NBA watchers that are used to seeing the show of review, but a little different over here in FIBA.
Well, what do you think about all the reviews? Just in the flow of the game. I mean, here it is. It's a 60-45 game, 46.3 seconds to go in the second quarter. And we have to stop the time to go and look at this and see if it's a foul. As they've seen to call it a unsportsmanlike foul there on, who is that? Gian Clavel. He played overseas. A lot of him played for Estudiantes in Spain. Also played for Sakarya in Turkey. Played alongside an Alabama basketball legend, Erwin Dudley. We played that team back in 2008. He was a good shooter.
He was. Good player. We did. He's a good player. He was young then, too, obviously. Much younger than he is now. But good to see. It's dope to see some of these guys that you play with, shine on the international stage, play against some of the best players of all time. Certainly. But I think, the review for me, I think that it's annoying. What do we need to review? Just call someone in New York, get on the headset, call us and ask what happened. But y'all got all these monitors.
In the second quarter, how important is it to get the call right? Does it really mean that much, or do you want to
No, you got it. I love the review. I love the idea that you're trying to get the call right. because you don't know what's going to happen. It could be, and actually they weren't reviewing for out of bounds; they were reviewing for a clear path foul,
Right.
And so, yeah, that's important because if that's a clear path foul and it ends up being that looked like a foul by LeBron that he got away with one, as USA making Q Young look a little bit better, that 35.5 looking all right again, but. Yeah, you got to get every call right because you don't know how it's going to swing momentum. I guess potentially in this game here, maybe not. But if it's a close game in the second quarter, all those type of calls could really change the momentum of the game. But
yeah,
65. Go ahead. My bad.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, but the break can change the momentum too. Everybody gets an extra timeout. I mean, what about that? The value of that, as you were about to talk about the halftime score.
Yeah, no, I think the value of that is obviously big, but hey, I think get the call right. That's the point of the sport is I'm a fan to get the call right. I do understand the idea of, there's human error in the game. But if you can get the call right, man. 64-45 at the half. USA storms back in the second quarter after being down 29-23, outscored Puerto Rico 41-16 in the second quarter. So obviously they woke up. Good for the U.S., man, and excited to see what does Puerto Rico have to do to even have. Do they have a semblance of a chance in the second half?
Well, they got to make better decisions on valuing the ball as far as when you're making sure the possessions. You got to keep the game short. And what I mean by that, you saw possession early on at the end of the first quarter. KD did a terrible closeout, gave up a three-pointer. They extended that lead up to 7. But then your defensive transition gives Anthony Edwards a layup right at the end of the first to cut the lead back to 5. And then they go to the monitor and see cut it to 4. It's those possessions that you can't give up. You can't give up the easy ones. You can't give up the leak out dunks to LeBron James. All of those things, you have to have a better quality shot on the offensive end, so you can make sure your defensive balance and transition is back so you don't give up the easy ones to Team USA. That's got to be the game to control the tempo if you are Puerto Rico. But it's gotten out of hand now. They've started to fall into the trap. They're playing a little bit too much up-tempo pace. And now you got to play fast to bring it out. A 39-point quarter that you allowed them to score in the second quarter for Puerto Rico is just way too much. That you allow Team USA, and then they hold you to 16. So the adjustments that Team USA made after giving up 29 points in the first and then making it more physical in the second, only holding them to 16 points, Puerto Rico making the comeback is going to be very, very tough, almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, to your point of controlling the tempo, like you can't even really control the tempo because to revisit the earlier conversation with small guards, you have to play fast. So I mean, you can control the tempo, but the tempo is fast, and if you're gonna do that's a tough boxing match to get into with the U.S. trying to to speed them up. You got to get really hot, and as KJ61383 mentioned, who is, man, we might have to bring him on the bring him on the live stream. This is our biggest fan right now, man. Shout out KJ61383. What's your name, man? Tell us your name. But he astutely noticed that the outside shots have stopped falling for Puerto Rico, similar to how they did against South Sudan. And South Sudan presented a lot of the similar problems with the length that they present.
You're gonna have to get that right. I believe that's KJ. That's a coach. She's a Hall of Fame caliber coach in the state of Alabama. Got to be tuning in. Former University of Alabama center. Yeah, that's who that. You got to get that correct right there.
Excuse me, my fault. My bad.
6-time state champion at Hoover High School in Hoover, Alabama, as a head coach, and 2-time, I believe, as a player. So, I mean, you talk about a winner who knows the game. As KJ61383 says, I'm a female.
Crystal Johnson, and see, look at Hemi on here. Here's Hemi. Hemi an antagonist talking about some Kenneth Johnson, man. Look, man, you want to be funny. You want to be funny, man. Now, Crystal Johnson, man, my bad. I wasn't familiar with your game, as they say, but respect to pulling up to the show and love. Yeah, respect. And Hemi, you got, hey, man, yeah, Hemi, I don't know about you, man.
Hey, it looks like Hemi's a good sport, though. They look like they're having a good time in the chat. I appreciate you guys having a good time with that.
Hemi, man, Hemi, we can assume that you would do, right? Like Hemi is a dude.
No assumptions.
No assumptions, man. We out here equal opportunity. Watch along, of course, man. No assumptions, but we appreciate y'all pulling up. Role Player Podcast, watch along, presented to you by Swish Cultures. What you think, man? I'm excited to get Alex Renfro in here, man. He's Alex Renfro, a friend of the show, a friend of ours, a teammate of ours, a very, very accomplished international basketball player from the University of Belmont. Looking forward to get him on the show, man. You gonna introduce Alex, man?
Yeah, I'll handle the introduction. Let me we'll see if we can check with our production team, see if we can get him ready. He should be getting lined up to join here shortly.
You know, check with the production on that, man. A lot to look forward to. Canada has qualified for the quarterfinals. Who else is? We're waiting on the game from South Sudan and Serbia. If Serbia wins by more than 3 points, Greece will qualify for the quarterfinals after starting 0-2. They're going to sneak in the back door and get to the quarterfinal round, man. So that'll be exciting to have Giannis, Jokic, and Shea. You're gonna have all the stars in the final round. I believe Spain will kind of be the odd man out in that situation. But we'll have to take a look at let's put the standings back up, man, and check out exactly, try and predict who these matchups are going to be.
And what do you think about Giannis and his play that he has had so far in this tournament? And he's been a dominant performance, but Greece has been struggling to get wins in the Olympics. Is his style of play not conducive to winning games in the FIBA level? What do you think?
Nah, I can't put this one on Giannis, man. They're a little shorthanded. Yeah, they're a little shorthanded, man. Giannis doesn't have enough help. They should. I don't know. I think they elected to go with Thomas Walkup. I thought Tyler Dorsey in a tournament like this, if he still, I believe he still has naturalization. Going with Tyler Dorsey in a scoring guard in a situation like that would have been helpful. No disrespect to Thomas Walkup, EuroLeague Defensive Player of the Year. And then Nick Colaitis at 37, 38, whatever, maybe 36. He's aging a little bit. So tough to win when, you don't have the playmakers. As much as we talk about inside out, it's tough to win when you don't have I shouldn't say the playmakers, because Nick's one of the best playmakers of all time.
Yes, he is. Won a championship. We won a Euro Cup with Nick Colaitis at the helm as the point guard with Lokomotiv Cuban. So I've been on the team. I can see that firsthand. I mean, talk about a competitor in great shape, has some of the best court vision that you'll find on any level, NBA, in EuroLeague level. A great on-ball defender, but it's amazing. I think his decline has been slow. He's been in great condition. He's still been able to be a big contributor. But at the same time, I do agree with you. That Greek core is not what it once was. They used to have some really good players with Papaloukas and Diamantidis, Sophocles, Skortsianidis, so many really good players. Tonis Fatsis, really good players that were in that Greek core, as well as the head coach now, Spanoulis. So they don't have that type of players anymore to really make that difference, to make the noise that they used to make in those FIBA tournaments. But maybe they'll be able to get things back going, but it's going to have to be on the back of Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think all these a lot of these European cores now are not what they used to be. Spain isn't what it used to be. France seems a little bit discombobulated. Leroy Jones put forth this question: besides the USA, what team you like the most, and why is France stinking up the place? And again, I think some of the similar reasons. I think France is missing a lot of their guards. Their core seems a little discombobulated. So they're going to have to address that. And similar to the U.S., they have a big pool to choose from. But one of the things that's going to come from that now is, choosing the right pool and choosing guys with continuity. But check it out, man. Listen, we finna ban Hemi from the show, man, because look at this. He playing around, man. He said he's apparently an Asian chick, but that's, say, Hemi, you playing around, man. But listen, we got two guests sitting backstage. One of them trying to figure it out, looking like Jerry Springer. We got the camera on him, man. The Jerry Springer show, and they used to go live. The dudes, we're gonna let him in right now. I'll let you do the intro before we get to the guests. Excuse me. Anthony Goods is in the house, man. He made an appearance. Our God, a Stanford gentleman, CEO, Swiss Cultures. Busy day for him. Made it to the show. Goods, what's happening, man?
Man, what's happening? Man, I was getting up I was getting notifications. It was a 8-point game, and then I go and check again. Man, they down 20. What's going on over there?
We missing you here on the show. Always need your analysis here on the live stream. A role player podcast brought to you by Swiss Cultures as we checking out Team USA versus Puerto Rico at halftime. So what's the word, Goods?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I wish I could be there, man. I appreciate y'all holding it down. Hopefully y'all ain't verbally abusing each other too bad, man. But I know it's going smooth and y'all holding it down, man. How's the game going?
Man, the game is going good. The U.S. started slow, and then 41-16 second quarter, picked it up on the defensive end and all that. But it was dope. Speaking of verbally abusing, why you dressed like Tiger Woods?
Man, cuz it's Stanford gentleman, man, the GOAT. You already know.
But what was you doing, man?
Do y'all golf in Wisconsin and Alabama? Do y'all produce anything but meatheads over there?
Hey, man, in Wisconsin, we got a participant in the game. Is there you see? Look at Anthony Goods, man. Look
at him. Look at that guy.
Yeah. Stanford gentleman, the tight shirt with the collar. I like it, man. You look good.
Is that what they teach y'all at Stanford?
Hey, man, they teach us to stay dangerous but look safe. You know what I mean? That's what they teach us.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But, yeah, Wisconsin got a participant in the game, man, Aleem Ford. We already went through that. Shout out Aleem Ford doing his thing for Puerto Rico. Got a couple buckets for them, couple fouls. You know, he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Oh, no, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. What guest we got backstage right now?
We about to introduce him, Rich. Go ahead. Welcome to the show, man. Go ahead. Boom, right there.
Oh, is he on here?
He's on. He right there.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to hold on.
I see my background over here, though, huh?
Hold on. We can't see. Let's see your background. Oh, my goodness. Look at this.
I know. He was back there playing with the background. Look at
I was back here messing with the thing. Now I don't know how to take it off now. Now it's stuck.
Leave it up.
Hey,
you got to leave that up right there.
I don't think I have a choice now. It's stuck.
We gave him too much time back there, man. We gave him way too much time.
I'm back there backstage, man, waiting.
That's all right.
What I'm supposed to do.
No, that gives us great time that we got to introduce our next guest onto the show. We got Alex Renfro, a 15-year pro out of Nashville, Tennessee, attended Belmont University where he was the Athletic Sun Player of the Year in 2009, as well as honorable mention AP All-American 2009. Alex has played in top-level teams in the EuroLeague and Euro Cup levels for many years, including at FC Barcelona, Partizan Belgrade, Bayern Munich, Galatasaray Istanbul, and many, many more. Over his 15-year career, he's played in Latvia, Croatia, Italy, Spain, Germany, Russia, Turkey, Serbia, and Puerto Rico, racking up numerous awards, including the first team All-VTB League, first team All-German League, and Baltic League MVP. He's won 17 championships, including the Serbian Cup, a Croatian Cup, a Croatian League title, a German League title, a FIBA Champions League, and a two-time Intercontinental Cup champion. Alex was recently inducted into the Belmont Sports University Hall of Fame and is widely considered one of the best basketball players from the city of Nashville, Tennessee. So, Al, we appreciate you joining us on the show. How's it been going, man?
Hey, man, you got the Shannon Sharp introduction, man. I like that.
Hey, it's only facts around here on the Role Player Podcast, brought to you by Swiss Cultures. We only get the best players in all over the world with the best resumes, and that's what makes this one of the best watch-along shows out there.
Man, you make me feel good, man. I feel like talking now.
Al, I want to know though, man. Look, you wanted to.
I appreciate y'all having me. First off, man. I appreciate y'all having me, man. I watch what y'all got going on, man. I enjoy it. Goods, Big Rich, Jordy.
Nope. Let me stop you right there before we remove you and put you backstage. Let me stop.
Y'all gonna mute my mic?
Yeah, finna put you out.
I appreciate y'all, man. I watch what y'all doing, man. Salute to y'all, man. It's great content, man. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Man, look, Al, I want to know real quick, man. Why is this jersey wearing you like that?
What are you talking about?
The picture, man.
Right,
why this jersey? On that picture, this jersey wearing you, man. That's how. But see, but then you must have got
big and baggy.
But look at this one. Where's this at? See, because this is a nice tight fit. It's a good fit.
Hey, man, you know I'm still big and baggy, man. I'm still waiting on y'all to come back to y'all's roots. I know y'all forgot where y'all came from at some point. But, you know, I'm waiting on y'all to come back to big and baggy. I'll be over here when y'all come back in 15 years.
The only player that's still out here playing like it's the early 2000s with the long shorts, staying true to his roots, but still getting buckets and making plays. Al, so you got to tell me a little bit. So at 15 years you have in your career right now, still playing, right? Still going?
Still going. Right now I'm unsigned right now, but still going. Still going. I hadn't thrown in the towel, man. I got some juice left, man, that I want to get out before it's over with. So
have you been able to check out any Olympic games? What have you thought about? What are your thoughts on Team USA throughout the course of the 2024 Olympic Games?
Hey, man, I haven't been able to watch much, but you know, coming from a player in Europe, man, hey, we have to. We got all the talent, we have all the skill, we have everything. Man. We have to win it though, but we have all the pressure. You know, being a professional, man, we us Americans, we take a lot of slack, man, when the USA team loses or even comes close to losing. So you know, from this Olympics, man, I think most of us have been saying that, you know, if we don't go out here and run through the whole competition and win this thing, us Americans, we're gonna have some problems overseas, man. And I don't think any of us want to encounter that. So we got to keep rolling, man. And we got to even roll better, baby.
Man, you talking about like the impact on us when the USA loses or gets close to losing, but talk about the impact that, you know, when say a Germany does really well, does that have a positive impact on the perception of Germany, or what ripple effect does that have on the international market? Say if Germany or Serbia does well.
Absolutely. No, I think you know, I think because we have to look at it from two different perspectives. First, we have to look at it from the American side, which is that we're in America, we're not very knowledgeable about what's going on overseas. You know, the talent that's over there, the style of play, the league, the many different leagues. I mean, the many countless different leagues. You know, so we're not very knowledgeable about that. So when a team like Germany or Serbia or, you know, any of these European teams really come out here and get a gold or have some amazing accomplishments, it's always good for us professionals that are overseas because it brings in a type of awareness to what's going on over there. You know, they're always talking about, you know, we're playing against plumbers and all that other silliness, man. It's good to actually be given some credit about what you're doing because you see teams like Jokic on Serbia and you know, Greek Freak playing for Greece and all these other guys playing for their countries, man. It really helps us out a lot, man. And you know, now that's one perspective. Then the other perspective is that when Germany wins and you're playing overseas, now you got to hear about the gap closing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
is
a conversation.
Now, is it now? You've had a little bit of international experience, not just only playing on the club level, but also playing in the FIBA level with some international teams representing other countries. So, how is the gap? As you see, the gap of Jose Alvarado coming in and ripping Joel Embiid, the big reason why he doesn't need to be handling the ball right there in the first place. He started off the opening play of that second quarter. They go right to the low post, and you got a point-blank jump hook, and you pass it off. This is what we're talking about, Jay. Sorry, this is at the same long as watch along. We got to do a little analysis of the game. I don't know if you're able to see it there, Al. Are you seeing the first few possessions?
Yeah, I'm watching right now. I missed that play, but I'm watching now.
But tell us a little bit, as you mentioned, to talk about what is it like when you're playing on the international level in these tournaments, representing their home? Does the level of play increase when these guys have the national pride? And when you were able to play a little bit with the Bosnia and Herzegovina national team, what's that experience like, even for an American representing another club?
Hey, I mean the pride is just at another level, man. You see guys during the year where they're playing for their contracts, and you know they get a bump or a bruise, and they want to sit out of practice, and you know they want to miss the game because they're not feeling so good. You don't see that when it comes to the national teams. You know, you never see that, man. You see dudes willing to die out there on the court, play through injury, you know, playing for nothing but pride. And I can say as a member of the Bosnian team, man, the games we won and the support we had going into those games, man, hey, it was unreal, man. It was unreal. Even for me being a Black American playing for the Bosnian team, man, it was unreal to be able to be a part of that and to see the support that they had and the following that they had. Just in my short time there. So playing for this national team, man, this is much different, a much different level. The sacrifice is at the highest, and dudes really do put themselves aside and play for that flag. So the sacrifice is amazing.
Yeah, and I think too, man. I think as an American playing for a foreign country, man, I think it's also a great step for your career, because it also proves, your ability to compete with the highest levels, of Europe, because usually the national teams have the best European players from their particular countries, man. And I think it's for every American that's had that opportunity. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys, both American and European, level up from playing in these European competitions and stuff like that, man. So I think it's a dope experience.
Absolutely. I agree.
Man, I ain't never seen nobody bang 2 free throws off the backboard like my man just did. I don't know what that was crazy. That man
they say that ain't what he do, man.
That can shoot free throws, right?
Was it the big man?
Yeah, the big man on Puerto Rico. You ain't got to
right?
mention his name. Don't worry about it. It don't matter.
Romero. Yeah, no, he's a finisher, man, but he finished. Hey, one of the best finishers I seen while I was in Puerto Rico, for sure.
Oh yeah, tell us a little bit about him and your experience in there.
Before you do, man, you got a special shout out for Alex, from your daughter. You want to shout out Livy in there in the chat?
Hey man, who knows which kid that is, man? Oh yeah, I'm sure it's Livy. What's up, babies? To my babies, Bree, Livy, little Alex Jr., my wife, Brandy. I'm sure they over there making fun of me right now in the other room, man. So what's up to y'all, man? My family. Mwah.
But yeah, my bad to interrupt you. Talking about Romero and his finishing ability.
Oh yeah, no, one of the best finishers that I seen playing in Puerto Rico. Being in Puerto Rico, man, it's a nice place to play, man. Enjoyable. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's just Embiid again. I'm sorry. That's the high-low situation that we're talking about right there. He flashing to the high post. Good defense by Puerto Rico. You're catching it and holding it on the nail way too long, trying to jab and shoot a mid-range J. You had the high-low. Throw it to Tatum for the lob. He's 6'8". Yeah. He can catch that for the easy lay-in. LeBron with a good move. He knows how to play.
He can. I don't mind that shot from Embiid, though. The ball moves side to side, especially coming off. He just got a basket on the rotation, a quick seal. He got a bucket. He hesitated a little bit, but that's his shot, too. After the ball moves side to side, I don't mind that shot from Embiid.
But why hesitate? Why hesitate? His Alvarado again.
Hey, man, they got to outlaw that.
5-15? I think I'm behind y'all.
So you gotta get up to speed, man. You got what type of Wi-Fi you got in there? Hit that MB right there.
Dog. I'm watching live, man. But I'm
got that Boost mobile Wi-Fi.
Hey,
you got that Boost.
I'm down in Florida. We got this rain down here affecting us right now, man.
It's a hurricane
right now, man.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's a hurricane.
So
hey fellas, I gotta cut out, man. Y'all hold it down on the watch along, man. Enjoy the game, man.
All right,
I'm gonna holler at y'all.
All right, for shizzle.
Oh.
Look at that. All right, you see there right there.
Anthony Good stopped in with us too, man. That was dope. Yeah. Go ahead, Rich. My bad.
Always good to have Goods. Great to have him there. People on the move, but this is a worldwide podcast show on the live stream brought to you by Switch Cultures on the Role Player Podcast. But yeah, as we talk a little bit at the score and what's going on in the game, Joel Embiid with 11 points. Anthony Edwards actually leading all scorers, or the scorers for United States with 12 points. But Embiid, 4 for 8 from shooting, 1 for 1 for 3, 2 for 2 from the three-point line, 3 turnovers of the 8 turnovers that have been made for Team USA. LeBron James with 10 points. So 3 players in double figures. Booker has 9, Tatum has 8, Kevin Durant has 8. So they're trying to get a little bit of balanced scoring for this team. But nonetheless, I mean, there's just some things when we talk about the game that I think from an international player, I don't really like that jab. That I know it's subtle, the hesitation, But if you're Embiid and you flash to the high post in that situation, that's when you got to step into that with 1-2 step and rise right up and hit that shot on the nail. Or as soon as you catch it, you got to be quick with your decision to look high-low right there to the other guy or swing it to the other side. You sizing up with 5 people around you in the middle of the paint. They can stay in the paint. It's not the NBA. They're going to be right there in your face. So you got to keep the ball moving.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're nitpicking a little bit, but shot real quick. My bad, Al. Erdene OG, shout out watching from all the way from Japan, and Rich, got a coordinated attack on Joel Embiid with Crystal Johnson. Man, she's been on Embiid for the last 35 minutes. So but Al, yeah, what you gonna say?
I don't even see why he out there, man. I feel like he should be down there in that circle, man. What they gonna do if he get down there in that circle?
Yeah,
Nothing,
thank you, Al. I'm glad we have a little support here. It's not just Rich with this whole narrative against Embiid of like, we trying to win the game.
But he was in the circle. He was in the circle earlier in the possession. The ball went side to side, and then he flashed high low.
Yeah, but man, we don't want that, man.
What you mean? That's his shot. Then he just hit a shot after that.
I mean, yeah,
Embiid,
you playing against Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is known for being small, agile, being able to get up and down the court. It's like, man, if we put our bigs inside, what's gonna happen, man?
Well, but I'm saying that's what they did. That they put the big inside, you know what I'm saying? They got a bucket, and then Puerto Rico adjusted, and then they swung it side to side, and then Tatum was there. So Embiid had to flash to the ball.
Yeah, he shot 3 possessions before, then 2 possessions before. Then
after that possession, after that, and made it. Man. Look, see, and made it.
Yeah, but we base it off whether he went in or not. We ain't talking about what we think he should have did. He made it. It was the right play.
No, I think the high post jump shot was the right play, man. I think that's a good shot for him. High, low flash. Nobody came to him. He hesitated a little bit. He shouldn't have hesitated. But the shot itself was good basketball.
I'm talking about the 3 balls. Hey, I don't mind shooting from the elbow.
Oh, well, see, Rich talking about the elbow. See, y'all got to get on the same page with your
I'm talking about the hesitation.
No, he ain't talking about hesitation on outside the paint.
See, no, he was talking about the one at the free throw line. That's what he talking about. See, y'all got to get on the same page.
Because I think I saw the possession. He caught that ball 3-point line and did it too.
Man,
it's stopping the ball, man. Like you got to be able to play. And that's one of my biggest gripes, I would say, is also with the game nowadays is like the ball stops too much. And it didn't stop right there on a great possession. You got the flash to the high post when AD kicks it right out. Kevin Durant gets a wide open 3-pointer. That's how you play the game. Like it's a team game. You flash to the high post and everybody has their head to the ball. It's back to the ball. You got to turn around and find it. Now KD just gets an easy one. That's how you play.
That's old school basketball you talking about.
Yeah.
Right? That's our age talking. He ain't playing that basketball no more.
Well, KD is my age. And that's why he's able to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
And to me, that's the most concerning situation is that like the most consistent and best players on this roster are your older guys. Like, so where is the future of American basketball going? If you're looking at it and saying with Team USA, the most consistent players out here are still the oldest guys in the league. I mean, so I know everybody's on the youth movement. They talk about all this talent and say how talented these guys are, but can you play? It's a difference between being talented and can you play.
I think we're seeing that with not just our team, but a lot of other teams too that are struggling.
Yeah.
That are struggling because, their older guys have kind of, gotten a little too old and they're trying to usher in these new younger guys and they look like they're struggling a little bit. I'm not gonna say no names, but it's definitely happening.
Why not? Why you not gonna say no names? Why you not gonna say no names?
Are we saying? I mean, hey, Spain is struggling, right? Struggling. Is
No,
your turn now.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think the older guys I think the Spanish team is having a hard time finding new core guys take over for that old, regime, the whole group.
Right.
And the question for me is within the development, why are the young players who everyone talks about is so good not easily overthrowing that old core? Look at the Spanish team and even in the ACB. I mean, Sergio Yul is still a force. Rudy Fernandez, Sergio Rodriguez. I mean, like they're all still a force in the league. And where are the young guys who are able to come and overthrow these guys? It's something within the training. It's something within the culture of how things and people were growing up in a certain generation that when everybody now talks about how good these young players are, why are they not just better? I just don't understand that.
Go ahead, Jordan. You go ahead.
I would say the worst thing for Europe right now is we've talked about the commercialization of basketball, because the advantage that Luka's turning into that to a degree, but Jokic and them is that they still know how to play. But if they try and turn them into these Jason Tatum types and just, have the ball they're not going to be able to compete at a large scale level with these Americans. So, yeah, I think the other teams that are kind of struggling to find that core, who else? Greece. You mentioned Spain. Who else is in the competition? Germany's one that is not struggling at all. They found their
young guys in and running. Oh,
yeah, but they all play. They play an NBA style, but with the heavy sense of European cohesion. I'm trying to think who else would fall in that category. Canada. Canada's an NBA team, so their core is young. I'm trying to think of the guys with the teams that have historically been good with aging cores. Lithuania lost to Puerto Rico. Greece, Spain, Serbia's, I wouldn't say their core is aging, but maybe to a degree. Like, I don't think that they play the same. Their best players coming from the NBA. I don't think it's a very tough move. I think that Bogdan and Jokic play a certain style of basketball, and they're struggling to find a younger core as well. But that's what happens when you break up when you're not playing in your country and you try and send them to where the money is.
Yeah.
It's a pride thing, and like the continuity, the chemistry thing. That's a beautiful move there by Chris Ortiz. Wow.
I think it also has a lot to do with this conversation we always have of basketball players versus hoopers.
So who's a hooper on this team USA? Is Anthony Edwards as good as he is? Is he a basketball player, or is he just a hooper?
Man, I have a hard time with the USA team. I have a hard time calling these guys on the USA team something, because, man, I think when you're at the highest level of basketball,
good read,
is you can kind of do what you want to.
Yeah.
When you're above, when you're number one, it's like, man, you get to kind of play around with it. You kind of get to do what you want to and experiment. You don't have to kind of settle for something, because it's like, man, you can kind of do what you want to and still kind of be in control of things. So I always say that I think it's kind of hard to evaluate.
Absolutely. It's probably hard for you to evaluate a lot of the Team USA guys. You've been 15 years overseas. It's hard to get a chance to really watch these games with the time differential. And we get caught up in being in the international game. It's probably easier for us to talk about the foreign teams and their core that they had. We talked about that Spanish team that we've all played against those guys with Rudy Fernandez and, man, Felipe Reyes, who was a tough player, Jorge Garbajosa. These were all players that were in the league that were in those 2008 Olympic. Juan Carlos Navarro. I mean, so many of these teams that just had so many really good players that were still playing when we first came on the scene.
Right.
And they don't have that same level of dominance that they once did. Pau Gasol, who shout out Pau Gasol and his brother. I mean, this is the toughest player I ever played against. I mean, so he says the Spanish team was good back when post-up play was valued. I mean, when you got the Gasol brothers who can both shoot and pass and duck in, and they're 7 foot and strong, and Felipe Reyes, who can be one of the better offensive rebounders as anybody out there in the international game. I mean, you definitely were just dealing with a low Carlos Jimenez, really good player coming off the bench, playing multiple positions defensively, shooting from the outside, Jorge Garbajosa, the whole team. And then with the guards, Calderon. I mean, and even for people that don't understand, they look at the NBA and you say, the Spanish guys like Ricky Rubio, but on the national team, it was the guys from the ACB who were the more prevalent players on that team that you had to be concerned with. Juan Carlos Navarro, Sergio Yul, Alex Mumru. I mean, so many of those guys were really, really good, and even in their older age. But that new, generation of players, I don't know. We said Santi Aldama, but they just don't have what it once was to seem to be as dominant on this high level stage. So I don't know. I mean, I see it in all of basketball. I mean, it's going to have to be some type of movement in the game to kind of get players back to being really, really good and competitive all across the world.
I
The
really think
commercialism is probably it.
It's just the changing of the guards, man. This is what happened when you got to change the guards, man. It's gonna be some downtime in there, man. It's gonna lag for a second while you're trying to change the guard. You're trying to usher out the old and bring in the new. Like, man, it takes some time, man. You talking about these?
Has there
12 years, 16 years?
You talking about simply on a team level? You talking about on a team level simply
on a national team level? Yeah,
national team level. Anthony, to go back to your question, Anthony Edwards is a hooper, but he's also a quick learner. So I think he's going to be a basketball player when it's all said and done, which I think is kind of the excitement around his game. Anthony Edwards, when he first came in the league, I remember one of his first preseason games, he was playing help side defense facing out of bounds on the baseline. Like ran back and was facing out of bounds. So to see he's obviously got the talent, but to see where he's come in terms of how he sees the game, and I think he's going to use this Western Conference Finals because they had a chance to beat Dallas. So Anthony Edwards he's a hooper, but I think he'll be a basketball player when it's all said and done.
Even you say as a casual, a person that doesn't watch much or just watches the important games, like if you're not really paying attention, man, you wouldn't even notice that, because I would say that he's kind of so far above that, man, is stuff that may not happen the right way. It still happens. The results are still good because it's like, man, he's just so damn good. Excuse me.
You can say damn. It's FCC approved for damn these days, man. Question from KJ61383. That's Crystal Johnson. Moving forward, who do we trust to lead this USA team from the current roster?
Good question. Really good question. Al,
we always
Anthony Edwards.
I say it got to be Anthony Edwards, right?
I'm going with Tatum for the time being. I got to go with Tatum. Like he's the champ right now. I understand it don't look like it, but to me, he's the top dog from the young guard on this team. So until otherwise, he's also for whatever reason, they're trying to make him a polarizing figure, and he's really not doesn't really have a polarizing personality. Like he's very openly a mama's boy. He's a good dude, but so I think he's going to be, I don't understand why people try and make it out that way, but what you rate, Rich, you shaking your head. What you think?
He need to stop with all that. I will say he definitely has the game. He has the look to be marketable. And I do agree with you for being the piece that they need to be the next best player on this roster, because he has the positional ability to be impactful. Speaking of impact, the breakaway with maybe I need to change my pick from Tatum back to Anthony Edwards after I see it.
I'm in front of y'all, man. Hey, what kind of internet y'all got over there? I'm in front of y'all. Oh, yeah. See what's going on? Yeah. I knew something was wrong.
Yeah, you must have paid your bill at the timeout.
Nah. The weather must have cleared up. The weather cleared up, man.
That's what it is. Okay. All right.
I think Tatum with that position that he can play, he can do so many things. He has the size at 6'8". He can play, he can rebound, he can defend multiple positions, he can shoot from the outside, he can facilitate. So internationally, he just has that same role that we talked about with Carmelo Anthony and Kevin Durant have played for so long. He can be the next up to take that torch and be the guy that you can roll with. But, as long as he got Anthony Edwards out there alongside him, man. See, that's what you got to do right there.
I'm going Edwards, man. I think the attitude, just the way he carry himself, man. I think it's going to be easy just to pass it on to him. He kind of has the personality to do it. It seems like he exhibits the personality to do it. I don't know what his personality actually is. I don't know, but just from watching. I don't watch as much as y'all.
He's
but just
he's
from what I
charismatic
watch,
for sure.
absolutely.
He's definitely charismatic.
Kevin Durant is the all-time leading scorer and all-time leading rebounder. Breaks both of those records in the same game for USA basketball, man. Yeah, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive feat for him there. So shout out to KG, man. Give him his love as a legend. You know, so someone said to me in the gym that KD's not a generational player the other day.
Man. And what did you say back?
Yeah.
What do you think I said back?
You probably
no, I was in the.
You probably ignored it.
I didn't ignore that because it was more of an intriguing conversation than Michael Jordan versus LeBron. So I definitely gave it some energy. The argument was that I mean, I said that's foolish. That's foolish.
Ignored that one.
Not a generational player. That's the one I should have let go.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have walked off.
I couldn't. The problem was I was minding my business, having a conversation with a friend, and this person interjected into my conversation to say that KD was not generational. So I had to respond. He left me with no choice. Real quick too, Rich. Leroy Jones says Tatum has to stop loving his family to be the face of the U.S. because you said he got to stop all that. That was an interesting take, Rich. So he got to stop loving his family, or
I ain't say nothing about the family. I'm just saying I was on the thing that you said, man, with the mama's boy. I mean, like, listen, to be an alpha, like, I don't know if that's what you got to be out there portraying. After every single game, listen, we all love our moms and everything too, but I'm just saying, if you're going to be the guy out there, that might be something that you're going to have to calm down a little bit. But hey, do what he wants.
Anthony Edwards on fire is clearly his game. What y'all think about Drew Holiday as the odd man out today, man? Is Steve Kerr out of pocket for this? Just picking someone to sit out each game? Should he be able to get all 12 guys in? I know they said Drew Holiday was questionable before this game, but I gotta imagine it's still a little bit of a cop-out just to sit him here and just play. He's only played 11 guys in every matchup. Is that out of pocket, or someone got to sit?
Why they up 40? What they up 40? 30?
But this is the third game in a row that it was Joel Embiid didn't play last game, Jason Tatum the game before. Now it's Drew Holiday.
We just rotating people around. We just keeping them guessing. That's all we do.
Yeah, but how we not gonna rotate? We up 30 and we're not gonna put somebody in the game.
No, we just keeping them guessing.
Go to the chat.
They ain't gonna know what happened next.
Well, Crystal Johnson said, "No way you can't get everybody in these games." I'm with her. I think they wilding.
Hey man, you've been sitting over there the whole game on the side, man. You ain't trying to go in up 40. No,
yeah, but he should have been in earlier in the game. He should have been there earlier in the game.
Save me till tomorrow, man. I'm ready. I'll be ready to go in 2 days.
No, you can have that. I need to be out there. I didn't come out here and stretch and get loose and warm up for you to save me for tomorrow. You need to put me in. You need to put me in early in the second quarter. Early. Go ahead and establish that right then. Early in the second quarter, go ahead and get me in. Get my 3-4 minutes, and then let me get back in early in the third or late in the third, midway in the third, and then I can be done with my 8 minutes for the game. But you're not going to sit there and I'm an all-star making $200-something million, and you got me over there sitting on the bench like I'm a scrub. Because in 8 minutes, I can come in and go to work. Give me an offensive rebound.
He should have been in. He should have been in earlier in the game.
Yeah,
been in earlier in the game.
Man,
they got time to get some rest.
That man said he didn't want to play, man. He said, "I'm cool, man. You sit me today, coach. I ain't tripping. I'm hurting over here a little bit. I'm hurting over here a little bit, man. Don't even waste my time today, man. Just let me get my rest."
See, and if he said that to me and I was a coach, man, I'd be like, you know what? That's all right. I'm gonna show you some rest.
Man, you wouldn't say that. You'd say, "Yeah, man, I ain't gonna play you anyway. Don't worry."
I'm a shoot. If I was Steve Kerr, I'd be like, I'm gonna show you some rest. You're gonna volunteer to sit, man. What? Y'all talk about this old school stuff. I don't want to see nobody. I don't know player volunteer to sit. Like, hey, what?
You better not. There we go, Embiid. That's how you play the game.
Get out there we go. Make your injury worse, huh? That's what you gonna do, huh?
Yeah, we gonna get milk everything we can out of these dudes.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
For these games, the game that don't matter.
If it's Rich was born in 1957, boy. He want to see a post touch every time down the floor.
Why not? I'm gonna tell you this, and I totally agree with what you're just saying too. And the young kids need to understand that. This playing for coaches. We got coaches in the chat too. Like, man, you never tell your coach you don't want to play in the game. Somebody tells me if I'm coaching my team, you already got too many decisions as a head coach about how you're gonna juggle the roster. Don't make it easier on me by saying, man, I'm cool, coach. I'm gonna sit out. Like, as soon as somebody tell me they don't want to play, like, that's great.
About you.
Great.
We say
it's one less thing I got to worry about.
Are we saying
it's one less thing?
Are we saying this after y'all just said he came into the game, he was questionable? Is that what we talking about?
Yeah, he was questionable. Questionable. Get on the floor, man. Get on the floor. Get on the floor.
We're questionable and we're winning by 30 in a game that.
Take that with you, Al. Take that comment with you right there. Take that comment with you right there. See?
Hey,
smart people in the chat.
Take that with you, man.
You know she gonna get on here and say the opposite of me, man. she just want to say what y'all saying, man. It's gonna be just like the chat. I'm finna sign off this mug, man. I'm finna go put my phone down.
No.
Put that mug face down. I'll put that mug face down on y'all. Y'all already be teaming up on me every time we talk, man. Y'all stay teaming up on me for no reason, man.
Who?
Rich over here talking, boy. Rich over here talking, man. He talking about in the third, put me in early in the second, man. Rich knees would have been done by then.
That's all right. That's my problem.
He would have had
that's my problem. Let me deal with my knees.
He would have been saying, "Hey, no, I'm cool."
Listen, no, you ain't never heard me say that. Man, no, you never heard me say that. If a coach tell me and there's 30 seconds left in the game, go get in the game, man, I'm sprinting in there. I'm sprinting in there before they have a change of possession, before I got to wait at the next media. I would give that advice to any kid. If you're going to play, man, you better hustle up there and act like you want to be in the game, because if you give a coach any type of wiggle room to not put you in, man, that's one less thing they got to think about. It's like, we coach baseball, Al. You know what it's like? And I get them kids in between the innings. Coach, can I play this position? If I got a kid say, can I play in the outfield? Oh, you got that immediately. Like, thank you. Now I don't have to worry about putting you in the infield. So I got one kid want to be out there in the grass. You go right ahead. So if I got somebody telling me, oh, I don't want to play, thank you. Now I don't even have to look your way. So if I'm a player, man,
how old are these kids? How old are these kids?
Hey,
I'm finna call CPS, man.
5.
I'm finna call. Say, man, what you doing over there, man? You gotta be investigated.
Rich sent them to the sideline. All right,
man. Rich bench him the whole season, man. Hey, here's a little clarification for you, Al. I agree with everything Alex said, but with Brandy, Alex Renfro's wife was with Richard on the post player. A little clarification for you, man.
See what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't even have to worry about what people say. You just let it be because you know better. I know who my wife is, man.
Man, shout out to Brandy. She's a Belmont University Hall of Famer in her own right. Understands the all-time leading scorer and rebounder when she finished her career at Belmont. I think knows a little bit about the game. This might be the most decorated family in Nashville sports, to be honest. Underappreciated, doesn't get the love that they deserve and what they've done athletically. But you're going to get it right here when you're watching the live stream of Team USA versus Puerto Rico on the Role Player Podcast, brought to you by Swiss Cultures. Alex Renfro, our guest. Alex Renfro, our guest, 15-year pro, 7-time champion, Hall of Famer, and still going strong as we break down this game. As Team USA is up 100-76 with just a little bit over 2 minutes to go in the game.
That's what I'm talking about, Rich. Jordan, you need to start treating your guests like that too. Good Lord.
Technically, you're both of our guests, but Rich was in charge of. I'm the production team today. Rich was in charge of hosting and introducing the guests. But trust me, my intro is where you think Rich got his style from.
Hey man, shoot!
Bar for bar, man.
This
the role player podcast, man. This I don't know how many times I gotta tell y'all people. This is my show. You know, we show love on this show. I built the culture around here, man. Presented by Swiss Culture. Shout out Anthony Goods, Jordan Richards, and the crew over there, man. So yeah, man, blessed to have the opportunity. We got to train them up good, Al. Is that true too?
Hey, you must have did a good job then, man.
Hey, and this is and I love this comment. Crystal said Cordell, man, Q, he not here. I don't know if he here no more, but he lost some money. 35.5 was the line. He took it. He said that's what we on today, and he gonna be on a budget because he gonna miss out on a couple $100, I'm sure, knowing my man, but that's all right. I'm sure he'll bounce back for this Serbia South Sudan game. Hey, man, you know what they say? If y'all the most decorated family in Nashville history, that means we gotta look out for little Alex and Olivia coming on the way soon, right?
Oh yeah, they on the way, man. Don't forget about my small one now, Bree. She on the way too now.
And Bree, but she's young.
She might be the fighter out of the group. Seems like she might be the meanest out of the group. So ain't no telling what she gonna have going on. She kind of running stuff right now, but
yeah, well, we gonna see,
listen,
man. We gonna keep our eye out for you.
I can't say we're number one though. You know, we got a number one family. But hey, we'll take it. We'll take it, man. We'll take what we'll take, man. Appreciate that.
Who's number one if y'all not number one?
We have a family called the Cambridges.
Oh man.
Who
Wow.
Pumping them out, man, left and right.
They are.
They just had I think she's going into her first year. She was the number one young lady in the U.S., I believe.
Yeah, I believe the father's name is what again? Is it Devin?
Desmond
Cambridge played at Alabama A&M, led the country in steals in Alabama A&M in Huntsville, Alabama. One of their daughters, Jordan Cambridge, played at Vanderbilt University, led the conference in steals. Really good score. So just talk about really good athletes in the city of Nashville to go along with the Renfro family and what they're able to do. And as we look at this score right here, Team USA 104-81. Yeah, that's not look like they're going to be able to cover in this one. But Jordan, what do you think about the performance?
Man, good performance. Lackadaisical first start, man. Lackadaisical first quarter. Obviously turned it around quick, which is, what we talked about. We want to see these dudes dominate. And, they've done that in every game so far. Started off a little slow first 5 minutes, first quarter, but obviously they're locked in. They're ready to go for the quarterfinal. And looking to see who we draw here. We should be able to check that out here in a second. But, no, good overall game, man. Anthony Edwards was the star of this one for sure.
Yeah, we absolutely need it, too.
Anthony Edwards, 26 points, 11 for 15 from shooting from 2, 3 for 6 from the three-point line. Joel Embiid chipped in with 15 points on 6 of 14 shooting from the field. LeBron James, 10 points. Jason Tatum, 10 points. Anthony Davis, 10. Kevin Durant, 11. Is it a little bit of concerning? Steph Curry, only 8 points in his performance. What do you think about his input for Team USA? Will he be needed to have a big performance as they move forward in these knockout rounds?
No, I don't think so, man. Nah. What you think, Al? You go ahead. You the guest.
That's the luxury of it.
I'm not concerned at all. Steph Curry is going to be Steph Curry, man. I'm not concerned. I think he'll have a much bigger role, much more production later on in these games coming up. So I think he will be Steph Curry, man. We got so many weapons that, man, it's tough, man. How do you do it every game? How do you do it every game with so many weapons? That's the challenging part. But I think the biggest thing is that people need to accept that when it's not your day or it's someone else's day, that you just keep doing your job and it's gonna come back your way. So
I mean, Steph is gonna have one of them days where he where he hits a bunch of threes, but in this environment, the FIBA play, like, he's not gonna be imposing on defense. He's not really gonna be handling the ball or be the focal point of the offense like that. So it's not. I don't really expect to see him have. I didn't think he was gonna have too many breakout games. And his first Olympics as well. Like, I just didn't expect it's gonna be a show for it's a game for guys like KD and Bron and Anthony Edwards, because he's going to dominate the ball. But Steph is going to have to just get hot from three. Otherwise, they'll be fine either way, though. They got enough weapons, and, they'll be good, man. So
83 points from Puerto Rico. They were the lowest scoring team in the tournament. Jose Alvarado led the way with 18 points. Romero, 12 points, 10 rebounds, double-double. 3 players for Puerto Rico with 10 points or more as Ford chips in for 10. Puerto Rican team 0-3 in the group, clearly not going to be advancing forward. But as we mentioned, it's a team that has a lot of pride. They'll have to continue to go back to the drawing board and see what they can do. But the knockout round, let me ask this one other question. Y'all talk about Joel Embiid, as we were on him a little bit from the big man play, as well as people in the chat to talk about him. 6 for 14, 1 for 4 from three-point line, 3 turnovers in this game. Is this the way that he needs to play if he's going to be effective moving forward in this style, or does it not even matter? What do you think for Joel Embiid, and what does he need to improve upon?
Al.
Rich, you know what I'm saying. I think he need to go in that paint, man. Get on down there in that paint, man. Throw that size around a little bit. That's what I want to see. You know, I personally don't understand why he would ever leave the paint. That's just my opinion. I don't get paid to make these decisions though, so you know, who knows? But I don't see why he takes that size out of the paint at all. With the size he has, the touch he has, why, man? I don't think you can do anything but foul him down there if he gets there, and I think you're taking all of that out of the mix by stepping out further. So, please get in the paint for me.
I mean, he gonna get in the paint, but at the same time, it goes back to ain't nobody trying to play that way no more. Like they not about to play through Joel Embiid. They just not. I don't know. Nobody finna do that. And they don't want to. They gonna get bored. So if they do that, he gonna get mad when he don't get the ball, and then he gonna step out. He gonna get in the way. He gonna stand right in the middle of the court and shoot them elbow jumpers and 3-pointers. That's just what.
But he can't feel good about going 6 for 14, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line. As you go to the chat, we see what KJ61383 says. He's too big.
That's Crystal now. That's Crystal now, man. That ain't that's Crystal now. There she part
there
of
we
the
go.
show.
Read it for us, Jay. What she say?
He's too big to not play big. But like Richard said, he's too out of shape to run rim to rim.
Like, absolutely. What's wrong with rim running? Listen, like, I know people want to talk, like, easiest baskets you can get. You get the rebound, you throw the outlet, you run the groove right down the middle of the lane, and you ask. That's the first thing we're looking at. And even as the guard who gets it on the wing, pushing up the court, he's looking at the rim for that throw-ahead basket. Like, that's basketball 101. Like, take the easy one. You do that first and go from there. I mean, like, then you come out and you set your ball screens or your drag screens if you're the trailer or whatnot. But if you're Joel Embiid, man, make him guard you early in, putting the pressure on him. You can draw fouls, you get to the free throw line. He shoots the free throws very well. But this is, to me, just a matter of conditioning. If he gets in shape, man, it will be scary. It's like Shaq. It'll be scary for everyone. I don't understand why he doesn't understand that. He's making the game too hard for him.
It is. But that being said, man, look, quarterfinals coming up. These are the qualifiers, man. It is Canada is in with the 3-0 record. Australia is in at 1-2. Germany is in at 2-1. Germany is 3-0 or 2-1. Germany might be 3-0.
We'll have to
throw that thing up, man. Throw that standings up there for the people before we sign off, man. But either way, Canada's in, Australia's in, Germany is in, France is in, Brazil is in, Germany at 3-0. USA is in, and then the winner between South Sudan and Serbia will determine the last 2 spots of the tournament. So obviously Serbia with a loss is out, and Greece. Well, no, actually, Serbia could be in either way. It's tough to say. We have to look at the point differential. Either way, South Sudan. Yeah, South Sudan is win and in. Greece needs Serbia to win by more than 3 to get in. So, really interesting to see. Really a game with a lot of implications, and then the brackets will fall from there, man. But a really good show. Rich, why don't you talk to us about the show, man, and sign us off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We got to thank our guest first and foremost, Alex Renfro, 15-year pro, coming in and being a part of our show as our special guest. Had a really good performance today, as we talked about with Team USA. Big performance by Anthony Edwards, getting another win as Team USA gets ready to move on into the knockout round and try to get another gold medal back here for the United States. So we appreciate you all tuning in to the live stream of watching Team USA versus Puerto Rico on the Role Player Podcast presented by Swish Cultures. So for Anthony Goods, for Jordan Taylor, I'm Richard Hendricks, our special guest, Alex Renfro. Appreciate you all watching. We'll see you at the next one. Peace.
Big shout out Crystal Johnson too.
Thank you all guys on the chat. We'll see you on the next show. Hit the music.
Hit my theme music. What is that?
Hit my theme song.